So when it comes to the controversy around the TOZO NC20s and NC20 Pro, it really boils down to two main questions. First, is it a claim up to 30 hours of single-use battery life actually real? Second, even if the number is somehow true, the NC20 Pro has a fully interactive screen on the charging case. Was such a major functional differences wouldn't inevitably affect the total battery life of the charging case? On top of that, disabled these earbuds receiving overwhelmingly positive reviews since launch. After using them for a full month, I've still discovered several issues where the real-world experience does not fully match TOZO's marketing claims. So in today's video, we are going to break all these down one by one. Let's start with biggest question, the battery life. First, we need to address the questions surrounding the battery. Regarding the 30 hours claim, I believe it stemmed from a misinterpretation likely originating from a YouTuber called GameSky's video. However, based on my research, TOZO never officially promoted this figure. The product pages specify a range of 16.5 to 12.5 hours. Even so, 12.5 hours with ANC enabled remains the top tier in the industry. So according to TOZO's official specifications, both the TOZO NC20s and the NC20 Pro uses a 550 mAh battery life in their charging case. Now, in the TWS market, this is not a particularly extreme number. For comparison, the OnePlus Buds 4 charging case has a 530 mAh battery. However, here's where the things start to look sus. The advertised battery life is almost twice as long. You see, the OnePlus Buds 4 just with 5.5 hours single use and 45 hours total, and in the same time, the TOZO NC20 claims they have 12.5 hours single use up to 80 hours total. That includes the single-use battery life being nearly double as well. So naturally, this raises questions. Either the TOZO has achieved a major breakthrough in the Bluetooth transmission efficiency or the power management, or this is simply some marketing inflation going on here. There is only one way to find out. Let's test it. Well, welcome to the lab. And before we begin, let me explain the testing methodology. Because this is not a typical just put the earbuds on the table and let them play music for a few hours type of test you will see online. So let's begin. First is a single-use battery test. This test does not rely on camera recording or manual timing. Instead, it is based on the Android system level Bluetooth HCI logs. These logs basically just recording battery information reported by the earbuds in the real time, completely with precise system timestamps. And by using this data, I can recontrast the accurate battery percentage versus time curve based on real telemetry. And every battery life curve you will see is built from this discrete battery data point. To ensure consistency, I locked down all the vibrants. Volume fixed at 70% and the LDAC codec with ANC mode on and EQ remains unchanged. And there's no reconnect and no reinsertion and no human interact. Second, we got mixed use battery life, which is the test most brands avoid. Since we are testing anyway, let's make the condition even tougher. You see, the different bands manage power differently. Some earbuds perform extremely well during the continuously playback, but falls apart in real-world usage. I mean, nobody uses TWS only for 8 hours of non-stop music, right? A typical daily use is more like this. You got 1 hour of music during commute, and 2 hours of video playback at work, and 2 hours with phone calls, maybe you got an online meeting, and 2 hours more with transparency mode on at low volumes. This is what I call a mixed usage battery life, and that's a data that most manufacturers simply refuse to provide. That's fine, I will test by myself. So what it will say later is not just how many hours can these earbuds play, but also which battery percentage range drains the fattest and whether power limiting kicks in at low battery, and how different usage scenarios consume power. And this is exactly why I prefer showing you the battery curve instead of just throwing out a single number. And third, we got charging case battery test. I just use fully drained the earbuds. That counts as a one circle. And then I place it into the charging case and charging it back to 100%. That's one circle. I repeat this process until the charging case itself is fully depleted. Only then can we say we've fully tested the case battery life. Now, this is where we really start to precise through the marketing. Now we're talking.
A few moments later.
Well, alright, after a few hours of testing, the earbuds itself are finally dead. Now, I've exported the cleaned Bluetooth HCI log file from the test form to my computer and opened up with Wireshark. This is essentially the chat history between the earbuds and the phone over the last few hours. We plotted tens of thousands of lines of code here, but I really only need a few specific segments. One is the AT plus BIEV. This is the field where the earbuds reported their battery level to the phone. Theoretically, we should be looking for disconnection complete code, which marks the exact moment that connection drops. Well, however, of the few attempts, I couldn't find it. But this actually proves that the earbuds just died abruptly, like the sudden death. So they didn't even get the chance to send a final signal to the phone. So what we actually need to look for is the very last row of the data where the source is the earbuds, which also be called a remote or controller. Next, I had AI with me write a Python script for me to scrap the specific parts we needed from the log. I hit start and we get our battery life curve. And here are the results. Continuous playback time, we got 4 hours, 52 minutes, and 22 seconds. For mixed usage time, surprisingly, it lasts 5 hours, 29 minutes, and 9 seconds. And this was actually a really unaccepted answer because normally we assume that the making calls consume more power. So let's break this down. First, I have to point out that while there is a pretty big gap between these results and official marketing claims, this is part of my oversight. Although I did set volume to 70%, I discovered that. Let's using a OnePlus Buds 4 as an example. At the same volume setting, their loudness is still different. The actual differences is about 3 decibel, which is roughly double as energy in terms of volume. So, practically speaking, the TOZO NC20 at 50% volume is about as loud as the Buds 4 at 70%. Therefore, we actually need to adjust the TOZO NC20's results up by about 30%, which means at equal loudness, the NC20's continuous playback is probably closer to 6.5 hours, and the mixed usage should be around 7 hours. Now, while there is still a gap compared to the official claims, but I would say these stats aren't bad at all for the TWS earbuds. They are actually above average. This just suggests that the conditions that TOZO set in their lab were probably a bit too loose. You see, the relationship between volume and power consumption isn't linear. So if you test at a low enough volume, it's easy to get some exaggerated conclusions. Also, unlike some manufacturers that like to use the inflated states or happy meters, TOZO actually put a reverse move. Their last 10% of battery is incredibly durable. Compared to other stage where it drops 10% almost every half hour, the final 10% in both tests last over an hour. Even though you get the low battery warning pretty early, it actually leaves you plenty of time to rush home and charging them. Additionally, regarding the fact that the mixed usage lasts longer, we can conclude that the making calls actually consume less power than continuous LDAC playback. This is because LDAC transmission bitrate is as high as 990 kilobits per second. But when we switch to call mode, the Bluetooth protocol forces a switch to MSBC format. Even though the microphone turns on the ENC, which is noise cancellation, the audio bit rate crashed from 990 kilobits per second down to just 64 kilobits per second. Combined with changing in transmission mechanism and possible switching to mono, the final verdict is that while the core power consumption might be slightly higher than the SBC or AAC codec, but compare it to an LDAC playback, calling is actually more eco-friendly option. Regarding the charging case, after nearly a week of testing, the case provides about 4 recharge times. Combine that with 6.5 hours per use, and we're looking at roughly 30 hours of total battery life. I think the difference in the power consumption between the two-screen version is negligible, because the LCD screen can stay on for as little as 5 seconds, and in real-world use, you rarely wake the screen up anyway. So here are some basic usage tips. The TOZO NC20's battery life definitely isn't bad. If you need to extend it, the most important thing is to switch from LDAC to AAC. Plus, since the dual device connection feature requires you to turn off the LDAC anyway, so I think this is a trade-off many users will find acceptable. That's it. This is my first time doing such a deep, complete test of battery data. Moving forward, I plan to test the more hot models on the market, like the OnePlus Buds 4, and try to build a database based on the real-world battery performance. If there are any earbuds you want me to test, just let me know in the comments. Finally, let's talk about how TOZO NC20's other marketing points hold up in reality. Sound quality-wise, honestly, there isn't much to say. It is indeed a complete upgrade over the NC9. Personally, I really like the TOZO sound profile. I mentioned in the previous video that NC20s and the NC20 Pro sounds different, but after further testing, I realized there was an error. The differences between them is practically negligible. TOZO ANC is average, basically good enough. It's quite excellent at low-frequency noise reduction. It has strong control over the raw or AC units and subways. While the absolute numbers might not beat mobile phone brands like OnePlus Buds 4 or Realme S7 Pro, I think its wind noise resistance is actually better than the majority of the earbuds in this price range. And about IPX8 water resistance, well, yes, I actually tried using them in the shower, and they do work. The only things you need to be careful about is this. Do not let earbuds fall out during the shower. The sound nozzles can still allow water ingress. TOZO does provide a water injection mode, which plays specific frequencies to vibrate the diaphragm and shake water out. That being said, neither the TOZO nor I recommend doing this frequently. Repeated use may cause irreversible damaging of the driver. So basically my conclusion is doing in the shower, acceptable, but swimming, absolutely not. And there is a hiding drawback. There's one more issue specific to the NC20 Pros. Because the screen functionality linked to the earbuds, the default connection logic is actually this, with phone to charging case and to the earbuds. This actually creates a problem with scenario like jogging or gym workouts. You're basically just forced to carry the charging case with you at all time. To be fair, TOZO is aware of this. You see, they actually provide a solution. Basically, you just need to in the app, select the charging case, and you can say an option called disconnect the charging case. And you tap that, and the earbuds then behave like the normal Bluetooth earbuds. After use, just put them back into the case to reset, and you should be fine. So overall, the screen on the NC20 Pro feels completely unnecessary for me. Every test points at the same conclusion. From the value for money perspective, I just strongly recommend the standard NC20 over the Pros. Well, you see, if the screen had real online functionality, with something closer to the smartwatch, instead of just mirroring the app and show the time display and customizable wallpapers, there will be a total different story. But I will also know that if we actually manage to do that, it will be just a matter of being $20 short. Alright, that's for today's video. I'm Steve, and I see you in the next one.